The legendary latrine trail. Here's our first latrine. I would take a moment to. You what? Are you puking into the latrine? You are. Aren't you? How many clowns can you get in a latrine? Here we have a latrine that just oozes quality, as well as excremental leakage. The fecal miasma in the general area contains notes of orange, cinnamon, and burnt pilchards, mixed with week-old discarded offal. It gets no better. It is. I can't believe you burnt it. It was such a great latrine. Look at the workmanship and everything. Yeah, this is the next latrine.
Oh, this is Amos's latrine.
Oh, that is a very hygienic latrine, though.
Is it though? What could be inside? Let's see what our tour guide has to say.
Right, so the contents of this latrine somewhat resemble afterbirth mixed with broken leather. I don't know why, that's just how it's always been. And if you look closer still, you'll see the remains of an old gentleman's toupee. Or is that a dank tuft of rectal pubic hair? I guess we'll never know. Oh, wow. I mean, that's probably not going to work.
Are we allowed to go on the toilet if we see another latrine, or...?
Yeah.
Now I mean, you can't go to the latrine now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold it out for a little bit longer.
No, you wait, and this is a slightly longer one. So here we go. Okay, right. So the sniper posted up here kept round-the-clock watch for an enemy that never existed. The only foe he had to face was the passage of time, as well as the passage of the previous day's meal through his digestive system. At length he would reluctantly climb down, make his way to the privy, and relax as the angry aperture between his legs issued forth a torrent of half-digested beans. Legend has it that the man came to an untimely end one dark night as he descended the ladder to answer a call of nature, only to misplace a step and fall awkwardly to break his own neck. He was found weeks later, a small trail of beans having dribbled out of his trouser leg to pool upon the floor and dry out to resemble discarded peanut shells.
That's fucking nasty. What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
It's not great, is it?
It's not. It's too much. I didn't come out here for this shit. It's too much.
Absolutely A1 fucking view. You can go in the latrine. I want to point out with this latrine you can actually see shit in the bowl there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Who the fuck is dead in here?
Well, anyways.
Shit in here.
Haha!
Oh, I stepped in it.
Piece of shit.
Cheers, partners.
Oh, cheers.
And I think I'm gonna take a quick splash.
I just think there's no door on this latrine, and it's just such a lovely view. If you've got to take a shit, I don't understand why they wouldn't angle it slightly a different way so you could get a better view. So God knows when this latrine was last used, but the contents look remarkably like a withered brown crocodile snout peeking out from the U-bend, or a gold symbiote for Stargate fans. Probably wouldn't get too close. Still, decent latrine.
Decent How much would you give on this latrine, like, out of 10?
8 out of 10. If they angled it to get a better view, 9 out of 10. It loses a mark for not having a door, but that's part of the charm.
Well, now I need to refill my pint, so I'll just be calm.
How do we know you're not gonna go to the toilet?
Oh look, somebody's got my favourite camp spot. Fucking asshole. Yes, this.
You gotta wait. You gotta wait.
Unless you want
Who
to
the
wait
fuck is this
18
person? And what we have here is a veritable stew pot of organs, gizzards, veins, and yet more broken leather. There's something that resembles a pair of lips adhering to the rim, and a choice nasal palette of London sewage, week-old spittoon, and dingleberry mash. A nice portrait on the back wall wouldn't go amiss, and perhaps a sparkly sign out front that says "Occupied" or "Step right in" to add a touch of class. Yes, there's just some fucking something adhered to the rim that looks like a pair of lips. It could be a fucking. Yeah, it is disgusting, isn't it? Oh, his face down! But what the fuck? Holy shit! Yeah, I'll retell this one. Well, I didn't finish it, but okay. Right, this latrine has a sort of haunting quality to it, being that I remember back to one moonlit eve when I was in the area and caught short. Sure, I could have used the bushes, but what about snakes or bears, or even people with binoculars? Luckily, I happened upon this fine establishment and decided to do my business. But it wasn't until I sat down that I realised my error. I hadn't checked the contents first. So, indeed it was that I felt a cold sensation impress itself upon my undermeat. That being my gonads resting upon a faecal meniscus offered up from within the bowl. I never imagined at some point in my life I would end up like this, and as I stared at the bare wood on the door before me, I felt the surface tension break along with my will to live, a real horror show of an ablution.
My gonads. What the
That is-
fuck?
Absolutely.
Way of saying my fucking testicles. Like, Jesus, it's very good.
It's one of the best. Really.
I mean, this is another quality literature. Look at that. Absolutely delightful. Sight to behold. Couldn't have asked for better. Right next to a wishing well as well. You can sit there, take a shit, and flip coins and make wishes.
See if I can put it in this shop.
The Swagger Inn was known for its rambunctious nature, but tonight the place was nearly empty, and only a smattering of broken furniture littered the floor, half of which was now being used impromptu firewood to ward off the damp without. A minstrel sat in the corner and performed out of key and out of time. Idly, Edgar stared out the window, barely registering the grey sludge running down his chin, back into the chipped bowl from which he ate. He drained the last drops from his tankard of what he hoped was ale, and made a beeline for the latrine. If there was one thing he needed to do right now, it was to excrete some urine. As it happened, the latrine was, in fact, no more than a hole in the ground out back. But the proprietor of the inn had at least gone to the effort of nailing up a board outside to state its use. As he relaxed, Edgar smirked as he thought of some of the lazy summer days gone by, before that sign had gone up, and of the many innocent youths that had once used the hole as a sandpit to play in. That's it. On which note, I'm going for a piss.
Right. Cheers.
I once got kicked out of a saloon for attempting to use a spittoon as a bedpan. It was a low point. So, it was with a heavy heart that I went out back to find the latrine. Frustratingly, I nicked my scrotum on the splintered rim and spent the rest of the night crying into my own beer. I think it's one of the reasons. I think it's one of the reasons I stay so spry. It's, that is it, yeah. What do you mean is that it? Fucking hell. Like,
Yo, cheers, fucking cheers.
cheers, man. Yeah. So, right. So we're at Butcher's Creek, as some of you have already identified. Right. If you're lucky enough, you can find one of the locals using a latrine here. I've never seen it before, and I didn't know it could even happen. But during the time I spent researching the area for shit houses, I happened upon a man pissing up the side of a toilet bowl. His aim was bad, but I strode forward to get a better view. He just looked at me. There are 6 latrines in the area, as well as my very favourite on the trip, a long drop variant above the river. Enjoy. You're supposed to find 6 latrines. This is my very favourite latrine. Well, you got to find the other 5. But this is. Look at the blood coming out of the front of this.
I found a latrine that overflowed with shit.
I find
Well, I'm stood underneath this with shit raining down.
But then put it against that stone so it doesn't splash up on the stone.
Huh! Fucking unbelievable! Look at that.
Okay,
Yeah, bitches. And I found Lou's favorite first.
Oh, yeah. That is beauty.
With that in mind,
Dudes.
I'm gonna go take a shit.
I'm losing stamina.
imagine shitting in these spots. It's really nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'd quite happily shit into the river here.
Shit, yeah.
A nice breeze from the
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a Japanese toilet.
I mean, it's better than a convoy of red ants.
What and sailor, what shall we do with the jump?
Sailor, early in the morning, she rises late, she rises early in the morning.
well, Quinn, you actually have a beautiful voice.
Yeah, very much so.
Why, thank you.
I mean, it'll
It's,
I mean, it'll do.
What did you say, Dante?
well,
It's the opposite of what?
it's so different from when you're yelling at us.
So
So look, always taking
I'm trying to take a
a
jump,
dump.
man.
Nice.
How many are we in the chat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do you want to do a boxing tournament?
What? A
Boxing
boxing tournament.